She comes home late, sometimes just seconds before the city's curfew, and she always brings home more money than I could ever make in an entire day of painting. I started to suspect something was wrong when our neighbor complained about a tree being stolen from his yard. On the same day, Lua came home with money and leaves stuck to her clothes. My heart aches knowing I haven't been a better mother, unable to provide enough comfort and security for my children. I fear Lua feels obligated to steal just to keep us afloat, but at the same time, the bills are getting paid because of her. I feel so conflicted. Last night, our home was broken into, and although we now need money more than ever, I can't shake the feeling that Lua is causing the same kind of pain to other families in our neighborhood. So, am I the asshole? And if I am, how can I fix the situation? I just want my children to grow up in a happy home, away from bad things in this world. So, I would say not the asshole, because needs must. At the end of the day, you can't let yourself and your daughters starve, so just turn a blind eye. I don't think you'll be an asshole for doing that. Right, because it's like, yeah, maybe Lua is causing the same kind of pain to other families, but maybe it's doing some good. Maybe because of her robberies and her stealing and stuff, their families are being brought together and reuniting and everything. So you never know, this could be like a good thing for those families. Also, you don't have time to be thinking about other families. You can't even pay bills, so beggars can't be choosers. So I'll say just keep turning on the blind eye. Let's read some comments. So yeah, not the asshole. Lua is doing what she needs to do for her family. So, and it sounds like Lua is stealing mostly from public lots, which doesn't directly hurt others. Maybe try to teach her to avoid residential homes and pick uninhabited lots and parks to steal from. And then Opie says, I haven't thought about this. I spoke with her this morning, and she mentioned stealing from her friend's house too. I'll try to advise her better. At least she's not ahead anymore. Exactly. Yeah. So I think you should bring it up with her and be like, okay, don't stop. But here are some ground rules. Maybe don't steal from old people or your friends, because with your friend you're probably gonna get found out. And we don't want her to go to jail, do we? So that's just not gonna be good. It's just being reasonable. Okay. So, if you haven't guessed by already, this is obviously not a real am I the asshole? So, yeah, I thought that was quite funny, so I just added that in there. Now let's move on to an actual am I the asshole? This is real. So, am I the asshole for asking my brother to thank us when he just had a baby? Sister-in-law and brother-in-law, both 35, just had their first baby. While they were in the hospital for the past few days, they asked me and my husband, 32, who don't have any kids, to go over to their house 3 times a day to walk and feed their dog. We both share one car and have busy jobs, so we drove back and forth. My husband called his brother this morning to ask when they were coming home. He got annoyed and said they still were in the hospital for a few more hours, and he needs to check up on his pets again. My husband told him, not in the nicest way, he was heated, that a simple thank you text would make me and his parents feel appreciated for helping out this week and gifting his wife with flowers and balloons after her delivery. My brother-in-law did not receive this feedback well and went off about how he could have asked his friends to help with the pets. He didn't think it was a big ask and said that they already received tons of flowers and balloons and don't need more. His excuse was that he was busy with the baby and has not been getting good sleep. And just because he doesn't express his appreciation doesn't mean he doesn't feel it. He said my husband won't understand until he has kids of his own. For context, my brother and sister-in-law have always been spoiled and entitled. In the past, they have never said thank you when they received gifts or when my mother-in-law delivered them food. They are takers, live in delusion. They believe we should be honored. They chose us to help them. Everyone should be at their back and call, and the whole world stops to serve them when they are having a baby. We have lives too, and it feels like they are taking us for granted. They said we should do things for them out of kindness of our hearts and without expecting thank you in return. You can't force someone to feel or show appreciation, and now I'm sure whatever ounce of gratitude he may have felt is completely gone. So am I the asshole for asking for a simple thank you when they just had a baby? Well, I feel like there is there may be a little bit of resentment. Either that, okay, let's just break this down first. So, I would say asking someone for a thank you when they just had a baby and they're in the hospital, probably not the best time to do this. Probably not. Like the husband, which the OP was like, oh, and my brother-in-law's excuse was that he's not getting good sleep and that he's busy with the baby. That's not really an excuse. That is the reality. They did have a baby. Likely he's not getting sleep, or a lot of it anyway. I mean, so you know, I know that this was the best time to ask. That also it's so like, what do you say? It's so irrelevant at this point because it's been a week. You've been doing it, and now he's coming home. Like it says this morning, the OP's husband called the brother and were like, "When are you coming home?" And they were like, the brother-in-law was like, "Oh, just a few more hours." So you've been doing this for a week now, and rather than being like, let me just wait for them to come back home, and then maybe like when they're settled in, maybe mention it then if they don't even say thank you, then you decided to do it over the phone. I don't think this was the best time, basically. Just in the sense that they just had a baby right now, so you could be a little bit more forgiving, but also just you've done everything, so what's the point of, like, what is the point, honestly? At this point, why would you just be like, oh, I think it would be nice, right when, like, they're about to come home in a few hours? Second thing, so in the paragraph, it's like, the brother-in-law and sister-in-law are so entitled and spoiled, and they're takers, and just like just throwing them out like these, what do you call them, adjectives, without saying, okay, well, for example, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. If you think that them asking you for help with while they were in the hospital with the baby is evidence of them being spoiled and entitled, I don't think that that's fair, because when you have a baby it's so stressful, and also like because this is just normal. People just family just come together to help out the couple who had a baby. This is not something like out of the ordinary. So unless there is something that Obi's missed out, but obviously we're just gonna go off of what they put over here. They've got, like, they didn't really pack anything up, so it just seemed like two things. Either Obi wrote, because they said this morning, so I'm assuming when Obi wrote this, it was on the same day that they talked to the brother-in-law. So either Obi was super heated when Obi wrote this post, and so just like, you know, when you have a fight with somebody, all you can think of like the worst kind of things about them. So either that, or Obi has some bigger issue with their brother and sister-in-law, because it does not sound like they have a very good opinion of both of them, and like, because it's not giving family, you know, like you get annoyed at your family members, like, oh my god. Okay, I mean, I think if it was as far as like, oh, they didn't say thank you and you were annoyed at them about it, fair enough, right? Fair enough. But this whole paragraph of like, they're so spoiled, they think everybody should be at their beck and call, blah 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 blah. It's giving I don't like you as a person, as opposed to your behavior is annoying me. So that's that. But yeah, I think although it wouldn't have been hard for the brother-in-law to just say thank you like in a message, I think we can give them just a little bit of grace, because they had a baby. If it was anything else, I'd be like, okay, fair enough. But I think you can kind of give them that, like, a excuse, so to speak. But on Obi's side, I don't think that asking for a thank you then at this point in time was a good idea, and basically making a fuss about it when they came home. And like, if they didn't thank you, then you could have just be like, you know, after like a day or two, like, we did this for you, the least you could have done is said a thank you. And then if they were like, you should do this for us, blah blah blah, then maybe Obi would not have been an asshole for asking a thank you. But I don't know, it's like, well, like, who else, but like, families are supposed to come together when somebody has like this big thing happen in their life, and it's not a big, like, I do agree with the brother-in-law that it's not a big ask for them to ask. I assume the brother-in-law is related to Obi's husband, so it's not a big ask for him, brother-in-law, to ask his brother to go and check up on the dogs. Like, it's also, if they had a problem with it, they should have just said it in the beginning. But it, like, you chose to take this on when you said that you were busy jobs, and you know, you drove back and forth. If this was a problem, you should have addressed it then. But I feel like just this whole thing of like asking them for a thank you is almost like a resentment thing, that you didn't want to do this. You said yes anyway, you did it, and now you're just kind of, you know, okay, you're getting a little bit bitter. And just speaking of white, so let's do another one. My 33 male the OP is 33 male, 532 female, handled a disagreement immaturely. How do I get her to respect my feelings? We are both at fault. Okay. We'll be the judge of that. Okay. See, I'm a jokester and I do some pranks. If you're gonna start out like that. Okay, a couple of times I did a prank where I pretended to cheat on her. Oh no. Now she told me she didn't like those pranks. But I did one more time and I shouldn't have, yeah. Yep. Well, my wife got back at me by doing a cheating prank. It hurt my feelings. It hurt my feelings. I now see what she means by cheating pranks aren't fun. You don't say. But I'm hurt that she knew how hurtful they can be and yet did it. She said, obviously, I'm the type that needs to learn through experience. But that's not true. I would never intentionally hurt my wife. When I did the pranks, I didn't realize how big of a deal they were. But she did know. But she knew and still did it. Oh my god, he sounds like a whining dog. What do you mean? Sir, what do you mean? Oh my god, so many questions. First of all, what do you mean? She told you they hurt her feelings and you did one more. And then when she did one, she gave you the taste of your own medicines. It hurt your feelings. What's funny is that you proved her point, which was that you're the type who needs to learn through experience. When you just said in your previous sentence, I hurt my feelings, I now see what she means by cheating pranks aren't fun. Like, how are you so close yet so far away? Like, just read the line that you just wrote rather than saying, she said, I'm the type to learn through experience, but that's not true. Well, obviously it is. You just wrote that it is true. Boy. 33 male. Are you joking? I think at 33 male, if this was a 23-year-old, I would have been like, okay, you would just come out of being 23, not so much, 21, 22. You just came out of being a teenager and maybe you have not learned. But at 33 male, I think you can decipher between a joke and a prank and something that's gonna be hurtful. What kind of a prank is a cheating prank? What does that even mean? Why is that even a prank? Like, that's not even funny. Second of all, you did it multiple times, you know to do it and you did it anyway, so I would do the same. I would honestly do the same, like, because at this point, how else are you supposed to teach somebody like him, like a man-child, he's giving man-child, I'm not gonna lie. But obviously, like, I don't want to be too judgmental because there's like 2 paragraphs of this very specific situation, and he seems to say that, their marriage is fantastic and whatever, but yeah, grow up is what I would say to this person. I think you are situation. But yeah, that is basically the last one. This is going to be all for this video. I do like the American Asshole kind of videos, ASMR or otherwise, so I wanted to do one myself. This is going to be all. I hope you enjoyed the video, and comment down below if there is one you disagree with, or if you have different opinions, especially on the first one, because it's just like certain important, like I think it was like the most important one out of all of them. The first one, the am I the asshole for turning a blind eye to my club child because she's bringing in more money than I ever could. That's, if you have any opinions, it has to be on that one, like, please, because I think that is probably the most important one. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Although I don't think that you'll disagree, because why would you, right? Like, it's kind of obvious. I don't think that she's an asshole.